After 3 years of tweaking and selling his first automobile, the quadricycle, Ford sees how investors have been interested in his product. Ford sees an opportunity. With this vision, he creates the Ford Motor Company, based out of Detroit, Michigan. With his new company founded, he now needs the publicity to bring his brand into the light. To do so, he enters one of his cars into a race in Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Ford is a heavy underdog, especially with world-renowned racer Alexander Winton also in the field. As the race is underway, Ford is behind the pack. However, where other cars lacked, Ford thrived. His car was able to stay running at the same speed for the entirety of the race, where other cars start to lose fuel and break down. Ford wins the race, and it's just the break he needed. The Ford Motor Company is now on the map. With the attention of the people now at his hands, Ford starts to release more products. He comes out with 9 models in 5 years, including the Model N, the Model C, the Model R, and more. As each car is released, he slowly starts to lower prices, something that has not been done before in the car industry. Ford knows that the lower the prices are, the more people there are that can afford them. In October 1908, the Ford Motor Company changed forever. After numerous car designs, Ford found the one that makes him one of the richest men in the world. When the Ford Model T was released, it was the hottest car in the market. Its combination of affordability and craftsmanship was a perfect balance, and they soon flooded the streets. Before the Model T was released, there were roughly 100,000 cars in America. 2 years after its release, there were nearly 500,000. With demands through the roof for the Model T, Ford needs to find a way to produce more cars, and the solution is found in the assembly line. Using a conveyor belt to move parts down a line, workers can do one job, such as screwing in a valve, and place the part back on the belt as it gets moved to the next station. The assembly line cuts production time down from numerous hours to roughly 6 minutes, and allows them to produce cars at a much greater rate. His revolutionary utility is used to this day, allowing companies across the world to produce parts in much greater amounts. We can thank Ford for popularizing the assembly line in business, since without it, companies in dozens of different fields wouldn't be able to meet the high demands for their product. With the assembly line, Ford is able to produce cars for cheaper, and with that, he continues to lower prices. However, not everyone appreciates that. In 1916, shareholders in the Ford Motor Company sue Henry Ford because the lower and lower the prices of cars are, the less money the shareholders are getting. The shareholders decide they have a say and decide to bring Ford to court. Also on the plaintiff's side of the case are Ford's business partners, the Dodge brothers. This is a stab in the back to Ford, who had been working with the Dodge brothers for years. The judge rules there is no wrongdoing on Ford's end, and he is found innocent. However, Ford's relationship with the Dodge brothers has come to an end. It has now been 19 years since Ford released the Model T, and the product, as successful as it has been, is getting old. It is time for a new car. Ford releases the Model A, which, like the Model T, is now the most popular car in the country. In 1929, the Great Depression hits. Millions are being let off from jobs, and finding work is a struggle. Ford knows that to keep his company thriving, he must keep his workers. He decides to do the seemingly unthinkable. He decides to increase wages and lower his own self-profits. Although he is criticized for this, it is a genius move in the long run. By increasing his workers' wages to $7 a day, Ford has helped create a social level, the middle class. During the Great Depression, there were the ultra-wealthy and the ultra-poor, with few in between. Ford's employees were paid enough wages to sustain themselves and their families while having enough extra money to afford the automobiles they were building, as well as the new appliances and products that were being made. His employees were a new type of citizen, members of the working class that could afford to obtain the new high standards of living. With loyal employees, popular automobiles, and a business built for the future, the Ford Motor Company is now the most dominant automobile company in the nation.